Luxury probably isn't the first word that comes to mind when you think about gaming laptops, especially with some looking, shall we say, a bit extra with flashy light bars and dot matrix displays embedded in their lids. But with its excellent performance, superb build quality, understated design, and a very luxurious price, the Razer Blade 15 really feels like it's crossed the line into portable gaming opulence. Let's start with its design. Now, it's true the 2022 Blade 15 looks almost identical to previous models, which has some folks feeling like it's in need of a facelift. But even after all these years, I still love the Blade 15's clean lines and sturdy aluminum chassis. That said, I do wish Razer would add full RGB support to the backlit logo on the lid. I know neon green is sort of Razer's thing, but on a premium machine like this, it just seems weird that you can't set it to whatever color you want. Inside, the Blade has a large glass trackpad that's one of the best you can get on a Windows laptop. And new for this year are larger keycaps along with Razer's signature per-key chroma lighting. Another subtle design tweak is that instead of having a distinct cutout for the laptop's up-firing speakers, this year, Razer used lasers to etch the grill directly into the deck, which improves rigidity while maintaining that minimalist aesthetic. There's also a new 1080p webcam for 2022, which is a welcome upgrade from the 720p cams on older systems. And finally, you get a plethora of connectivity, including 2 USB-C ports, 1 with Thunderbolt 4, 3 USB-A ports, HDMI, a headphone jack, and even a full-size SD card reader. On our $3,700 review unit, which is a lot, I know, there's a 15.6-inch 240Hz QHD display, which offers a great balance of size and resolution. I just wish it was a tiny bit brighter. Razer says all of the Blade's LCD displays are supposed to pump out around 300 nits of brightness, but using a light meter, I measured closer to 275 nits. Now that's fine for most situations, but if you're in a sunny room, colors may appear slightly washed out. Alternatively, Razer also offers 144Hz and 360Hz panels on other models. And just this week, Razer announced a new 240Hz OLED screen option, so there's a wealth of displays to choose from. Moving on to performance. Razer offers the latest 12th gen Intel H series CPUs and NVIDIA RTX 30 series GPUs. The downside is that these components don't come cheap, with the 2022 Blade 15 starting at $2,500 for an i7-12800H, 16 gigs of RAM, and an RTX 3060 Ti GPU, before topping out at a wallet-quivering $4,000 for a fully loaded model with an i9 chip, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 3080 Ti. Now, I should point out that these configs top out at just 1 terabyte of storage, but for those who want even more room, the Blade 15 features 2 M.2 slots, only one of which is populated out of the box. So if you're willing to remove the laptop's bottom panel and the SSD cover, tossing in another drive should be pretty straightforward. Just remember to use those single-sided modules because double-sided M.2 sticks won't fit. But I guess you get what you pay for because the Blade 15 can game with the best of them. In Shadow of the Tomb Raider on highest graphics settings at 1920 by 1080, our Core i7 RTX 30i Ti unit hit 124 FPS, which is just a touch lower than the $1,800 Asus Flow Z13, and that's with its optional $1,400 mobile graphics dock. Results were similar in other titles too, with the Blade 15 hitting 86 FPS in Metro Exodus on high, and 81 FPS in Forza Horizon 5 on ultra. Really, the Blade 15's biggest weakness, aside from its price, is battery life. On our local video rundown test, it lasted just 5 hours and 42 minutes. That's similar to what we got from the Asus Flow Z13, which, if you recall, is a PC gaming tablet. But compared to more traditional rivals, the Blade 15 lasted more than 3 hours less than the Alienware X14 and 4 hours shorter than the Asus Zephyrus G14. And in the real world, it's not much better. The Blade 15 struggled to make it through 2 games of Teamfight Tactics back-to-back, which entailed about an hour and 15 minutes of relatively light-duty gaming. I should also note that when you're running off the battery, the Blade's performance takes a noticeable hit too, with frame rates in Shadow of the Tomb Raider dropping down to 45 FPS. The other annoyance is Razer's charging brick. While the proprietary connector is somewhat forgivable given its 230-watt power adapter, its right-angle design means if you plug it in wrong, you're going to block at least 1 or possibly 2 of the laptop's USB-A ports. Honestly, high wattage power delivery over USB-C can't come soon enough. Okay, let's wrap it up. While the Blade 15 isn't quite as sleek or portable as the latest breed of 14-inch gaming machines, there's something to be said for having a big, luxury alternative. Sure, it's really expensive, and this 15.6-inch screen and 4.4-pound body means you can't just throw it in your typical messenger bag. But it's got top-notch components, a strong frame that exhibits basically zero flex, and impressive performance in a slick and, relatively subdued design, aside from that big glowing logo. In a way, the Blade 15 is a fantastic take on a modern desktop replacement, especially for people like me who don't want to lug around a giant 17-inch rig. Unlike the ROG Flow Z13, you don't need to worry about a separate graphics dock to get peak frame rates either. And thanks to a wealth of ports, you can leave all your dongles and adapters at home. So while the Blade 15 doesn't make sense for anyone on a budget, if you've got the funds, this thing is a real treat. So what do you think? Leave a comment down below, maybe give us a like too, and subscribe for more videos because it's laptop season, so we're gonna have a lot more reviews coming for you real soon.